So I've hit record, and we're going to see how much we can stay on track here. No promises. So we've already attempted this, but so welcome if you haven't seen these videos before. Welcome back if you have. I'm here with my dear sister and friend Candice, and we're just going to share from our heart to your heart about whatever comes through and what we're guided to talk about. We've kind of already talked a little bit about what we want to talk about, which is everything. But we only have like 50 minutes. 45 if I keep chatting. So thank you so much for tuning in. Our intention, of course, is the highest levels of love, light, benevolence for all, and sovereignty and unity at the same time. So, and I think we kind of wanted to go into, she was just fanning herself with the Canary card. And I just wrote about Canary yesterday, which has kind of been a flow ongoing for you over the course of the past couple of months, and for myself as well. And we're going to be talking a little bit about going into the heart and just start off 5D and then kind of spread out from there and talk a little bit about all of the realities, because I think what happens is a lot of times we get stuck and we see these different parallels playing out, or timelines collapsing or converging. And of course, the most important thing is to be here. But I think the Canary is important to talk about, because I literally saw the Canary that is used to go below to tell if the oxygen is there or if it isn't. And I was seeing it fly away, like open the cage, fly out. And I was seeing this with everybody wearing the masks and the CO2 and this inability to sing our song, and perceiving that we're inside some golden bar cage, when in actuality we are the golden bars. Like we are the canariers. So I guess we'll start with the heart and talk about that, and then go out maybe and talk a little bit about COVID, talk a little bit about our extraterrestrial ancestry, DNA, and all of it. Why not? Let's just play.
Sounds good. Yeah, this card, so it says sing your own song. So in the midst of all of the noise that we are hearing on the outside, how can we find a way to come into our own inner space and inner verse and tap into the golden notes that we are canariers of?
Yeah. And I think a lot of it is like, this was that perfect. You're fanning yourself with the Canary card. I just wrote about Canary yesterday and you didn't see it. Or maybe I didn't even post that part of it. There was a 2-part post. And, there's so much going on. Like you said, how do we find our own voice among all this noise? Not only to mention the distraction that we have from inside of us in our heads, and the shadow work that we're doing, and the integrating, plus everything that's going on around us. If you go to the grocery store, you can't, you feel like you're covered and you can't speak. I find myself smiling with my eyes as much as possible, making eye contact as much as possible. Have you found people don't want to make eye contact?
It's incredible.
Sometimes they do, but.
Yeah. So I have been in my work, because I deliver food. I took up this food delivery gig so that I can do my grid work as I drive around. Like, it gets me out and traveling around the environment that I feel like I'm so intimately connected with in the energy work that I experience. And so I have to interact with a lot of people, and it just shows you how actually integral social cues are to the human being. Like, we really do read more and speak through our facial expression. So when someone has no expression and they're trying to talk to you, and they're, like, you're cut off from half of the experience.
Yeah.
It's muffled. It's distorted.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm here to pick up such and such, and they're just like, and I'm like, can you please repeat that? And then there's frustration, and then, and yeah, so, and there's people who are wearing masks, people who are choosing not to wear masks.
Yep.
And in the midst of these funky filters and
Mm-hmm.
these funky distortions, how can we harmonize with our own frequency that is our frequency of truth,
Yeah.
our frequency of unity and integration, how we want to express our truth in the world,
Yeah.
and then literally seeing a filter. Like, it's so
It's and I love the fact that you brought up the grid work, because I got in my car this morning and just drove, and I realized, oh, it's a holiday, so the store might be closed that I wanted to go to. We have a few things that are open here, but not everything, and some places are closed, some places are open. And I mean, I won't get into the 3D aspect and how ridiculous the setup is when you get into the store, because it's creating even more confusion and more frustration. Yeah, so it's like gridding. When you're driving and you're going into these stores, talking about expressing ourselves, I know that you are the same way. That light language just comes out.
mm-hmm.
Or singing, or the desire to just belt out. I actually drove through a space today where I know there was a lot of activity going on with some very, very heavy density people, beings. And I literally felt the dry heave come up. So we
Yeah.
have, our body is telling us what we're, in the process of integrating. So I let it happen. I was in the car and I just started coughing and let it come up. And I love the fact, like, the tapping, walking through the store, tapping is awesome.
Right.
Humming.
While I'm driving around in my little car and delivering food to people, I love being in service. And it's so funny how this sort of occupation came up for us to experience, because me and my husband are both doing it temporarily because his work has been out of commission. So we've had to
Right.
find ways to support our family.
Yeah.
And so food delivery was something that he brought forward. And I was a little bit in resistance to this at first. And it was a bit egoic. I was just kind of like, so I came from this place of like, I shouldn't have to do that. And then
Yeah.
it was such a revelation for me. I was like, what do you mean I shouldn't have? What
Who
I?
am I?
Who are you? Who is speaking? Who is saying? So I was like, oh, okay. And then I had, we are integrating all these aspects of self and truth, and having it merge with program to clear programs. So that was an absolute program that surfaced, and I was like, whoa, that's not my highest self. What does my highest self say? Highest self says, this is perfect for you, Candice.
Yeah.
You love people, you love simple tasks so that you can just be in your full presence while you're doing something that doesn't require so much mind. Then you can just fully be there
Yeah.
and offer and allow the light that I am to emit code, to receive code from my environment, to literally just traverse time and space and whatever, like this is, so I was like, oh, this is actually like almost like an ultimate career goal for me. Drive around, I'm doing light language.
Yeah.
I'm just
You're just allowing, and you're almost like, the words came through earlier and I lost it, but it's showing up for you. It's just showing up. You're showing up and it's showing up.
And I get to support my family through this. And then as I'm driving through different areas in the city that I live in, the experience has been multidimensional.
Yeah.
In interacting, because my auric field, I'm able to feel how far and interactive my field is with the field around me. So I'm able to feel the drivers driving by, the people in their houses, the people in the stores, people as they're lining up outside of stores with masks on. So I'm getting to experience all of these things that I wouldn't have if I was just doing what I do in my house.
Yeah.
So I just normally do all my channeling and experiences from my house, but now I'm actually out and about doing it.
Yeah, and doesn't it open to the synchronicities? Like you see stuff to line up with your dreams or conversations that we've had or we've had with other friends or family members. It's almost like it shows up for you to essentially take you into a deeper level or even just more of an expansive synchronistic level. It doesn't have to be this, being alone and in the house has obviously got that depth to it. But when you're out, it's like the communication and the ways of communication opens up to be so much more expansive into things that we may not have noticed before. And I thought that was important too about the multidimensional. So I want to talk a little bit about that because sometimes, we get into that space where everything outside of us is going on. Like I went into the store and I was just like reminded, wow, oh, I forgot how it really is for some people. It's not that way for me, but that's how it is for them. And I think that's important because, so before we continue that heart space, so how can we show up? How can we be open to synchronicities? How can we keep our heart open and communicate with our highest integrity and be open to that? Because I think what's happening is, again, it's doing that keeps us out of fear.
Right.
I say it's that simple. It isn't always that simple.
Yeah, it's in the application. So it's like all the meditating and anything you've ever done is for times like this. Mm-hmm. It is literally your embodiment phase. So walking in the world from within, walking in the world. So it's just like, I am here. I am in tune. I am being informed. I literally am information. Informing myself, informing my environment as I move through and as I walk. I'm walking through all these realities because I am now existing in all planes of existence. So it's just like the power of the inner knowing and that inner poising of your true self is like a commandment as you are literally walking through these realities. It is almost like you are parting the sea.
That's exactly what I saw yesterday.
You are saying,
yeah,
I am here. And it's just like, no matter where I am, I'm here. No matter what's around me, I am here.
I'm going to pause this just for a second. Okay, thank you. Yeah, so you were just saying, bringing it, and also talking about that, showing up, being, so I just want to just go back just for a moment because, we're talking about multidimensionality. It's not like we're going to feel this way constantly, but we're being invited to get back into ourselves, back into that feeling as often as possible. And we can do this a myriad of ways. And for those of you that are listening that are already doing this, kudos. Share it with your friends. Give people a hug. Give people a call that need that. Tell people that they're doing a good job. Because I think what happens is we're locking into these multidimensional aspects. And Candice and I know this. A lot of people out there watching know this, but there's a lot of people that don't. So they're getting these feelings that are coming up not only from what's going on in 3D with COVID and the things that we're being fed and told, but we're also feeling it from other parallel realities, past and future. Everything's happening now. And so as this comes in, it can be overwhelming for a lot of our brothers and sisters. It can be overwhelming for us. I mean, some days you and I talk and it's just like, whoa, we know at this point that we need to just take that salt bath, unplug, do our cards, read a book, and then other days it's like, all right, I got to get outside, and we've learned kind of how to balance that, but people are still figuring that out. And then there's the other multidimensional, which is 3D, let's say, people that haven't figured it out at all. So by you and I and everybody out being in that heart space, it's like showing up and allowing other people to tap into that knowingly or unknowingly. They're going to feel it. And if they don't feel it, it's okay.
It is. Yeah.
It's
so important that we know thyself,
Yeah.
that's just being in position. You're literally in position and you're being informed. And then the invitation is for others to become informed.
Mm.
And as we're informed, we can inform someone else until they're ready to inform their own self. And this is something I was speaking to a family member about yesterday. um, a master or a guru or someone that you resonate with strongly, it's wonderful to use that being as a mirror or a reflection or a sort of like a surrogate holder for your light,
Mm-hmm.
for to grow yourself up to beside. But then when it is time that you're like holding that light your own self, that you're
Yeah.
informed. It's helped you to recognize that within yourself, so that now you're like that living information stream from your own self. You're locked into that
Yeah.
signal.
Yes, I keep seeing like a comb or bands on a string instrument, and they're all connected. Let's say guitar, and they all are corded in, and when they play together, they're aware. They vibrate at a certain sound. It's like a tuning fork. And the bandwidth, I keep seeing this reference to DNA, and you keep saying information. I love to play with that word too, because we are in form nation, and I was getting all this reference to inform nation. As a nation, as a collective, we are bringing together, bringing forward information, and not only we're sprinkling seeds, so that information can be right out here, kind of just hanging out, and then all of a sudden the light bulb goes off, and somebody goes, "Oh, that's what being in your heart means," or they feel it all of a sudden. It's like it's different for everyone and it happens at different points.
So I've been playing with this concept of creating forests of
Mm-hmm.
light, and seeing our little God spark as like a seed inside, and then seeing it like growing up like this great expansive light field, and just seeing that it's growing bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And the greater that seed becomes into that great tree, the more it offers like shelter and life and support for all life forms around it. And it's creating an ecosystem of reality,
Nourishment.
nourishment, information,
Mm-hmm.
support. And then, it aligns itself with other trees to create this great forest. And this is like a metaphor for this great community, and each being with this great, light force, this, powerful toroidal field that they have, each has this stability about it, so that when something comes to it, like a circumstance outside in the world, or of chaos, of distortion,
Mm-hmm.
it's that would be like the wind hitting this tree, this field. Like it
Yeah.
just, tree still maintains its shape,
Yeah.
rooted in that foundation of love and light.
It's such a good visual tool to use as well, because I do that a lot as well. I'll visualize the waterfall of light or the tree of light, the branches coming out and tickling, the space around me. I'll visualize sprinkling a little leaf here, a little leaf there. I'll visualize. And so visualization tools are so important right now, especially when you go to the grocery store, when you drive, when you have a conversation. Heart, yeah, that toroidal, and it's like a tree feeding itself. It's like the mother trees, the little trees aren't as healthy if they don't have those mother trees to help provide all of the nutrients.
I'm just being told to like unfurl, let it out,
Yeah.
spread open, expand in the light that you are.
Yeah.
You just kind of like this, you know, to paint a picture, it's like the smaller you condense, it kind of seems as though you invite something into your space.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just kind of like the more you come into that, it just commands the space that you hold. So you're just like a greater space holder.
Yeah.
And that's beingness.
Yeah.
You know, it happens in stages, and it happens when the being is ready for that sort of experience. But I think it's really important to cultivate that with each other, to
Mm-hmm.
cultivate that inner growth. And so while we were on pause, I pulled some cards, 4 cards shipped out, and I'll just quickly share them, and
Yeah.
then that'll roll into something else. Of course.
Yeah.
So 4 cards jumped out. The Badger Spirit, be fearless and bold. So be fearless and bold. Right
Yeah.
when we were around the mask stuff, like, just, if that's where you're coming from and you're not
With
afraid,
integrity.
yeah, oh,
From
for
here.
sure. But, like, you don't have to say anything, just even not wearing a mask and not being apologetic for that, just
Yeah.
really being and trusting in your choice, and then also respecting someone else for their choice,
Mm-hmm.
because that's the level that they're playing at this time. They're
Mm-hmm.
choosing to experience this in their reality, and that's how they're expressing at this moment.
Mm-hmm.
And there would have been a time in my life that I would have probably gone along with that,
Me too.
perhaps.
Yeah. Me
um,
too.
Fearless and bold. The Rhino, overcome any obstacle.
Mm-hmm.
I have pulled this card before.
That's funny. My husband always calls it the chubby unicorn.
Wow, I love that.
Mm-hmm.
And there's 2 horns, and there's a little crown on the top of its horn there, which is super cute.
It kind of reminds me too of Liz's Stegosaurus.
There's a lot of like really dinosaur dragon sort of mystical creature energy coming through right now. I had
Yeah.
dreams of the narwhal.
Yeah,
So
that's right.
be bold, be fearless and bold, overcome any obstacles, be playful. So we can
Which one is
even,
that?
this is the sandpiper,
Ah,
sandpiper spirit. That's so cute.
yeah.
Be playful, and then magic works through you.
Uh,
The scarab.
oh, I dreamed about somebody eating a beetle night before last.
So then it's like sing your own song. So someone eating a beetle is like taking in and like having that magic grow within them. They're literally having that experience. But I'll just say this one more time. So be fearless and bold, overcome any obstacles, be playful, magic works through you. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like just in that energy in itself is creating magic in your world. It's like,
Yeah.
no matter what, it's like, as I'm being, if I really truly think that I'm an eternal being,
Yeah.
then I can give myself permission in any circumstance to hold the light for all the beings around me, to be the joy, to be the love, to bring the humor, to bring the play, to just be there. That's the tree. I'm just holding it down.
Yeah.
And if I want to play, like, I'm the willow, I'm like, woo! And if someone looks at me like, why are you so happy? It's like, because I'm choosing happiness.
Because I have
And
freedom of choice and I have free will.
why not?
Yeah.
Why should I have to constrict my
Yeah.
frequency, my bandwidth, and play small? I'm not going to do that anymore.
Yeah.
I am choosing to, I'm expanding. I'm in expansion phase, and aligning with my inner truth phase, and that's where I'm coming from, and that's where I choose to be. And in that, I'm an offering.
Mm-hmm.
I'm offering that. And if someone's like, hey, how are you able to keep it together in this time? It's like, well, I'm just choosing to. I'm choosing on the bright side. I'm choosing
Why
to
not?
lose myself. I'm not going to lose myself in this.
Yeah.
All in this together. Do you see me? Yeah, I'm right here, and you're right here. And I'm going to maintain that until I'm not here anymore. I'll be somewhere else at that point.
Yeah.
I'm going to play as long as I'm here. I'm going to play. I'm going to play with you, and whoever's willing to play with me. Let's effing play.
Yeah. Seriously, we're at the point where it's like, you get to that point where, yes, there's moments of seriousness and we're integrating, but once those moments are there, we can't stay in it. I mean, we can, But again, that creates this, I call it a collapse. You collapse in and on yourself, and it becomes this. And so if we're feeling, I think a lot of us are in that space of like, bring it. I'm bringing it. Wherever I go, I'm bringing the light. However, there's going to be times that it's not going to feel so it may not feel like you're able to be playful, and acknowledge, honor it. Everybody's at a different place, and we're all at a different place at different times of the day. Even I mean, we might have something that happens throughout the day that give us a step back and go, okay, how can I integrate this and bring back the joy that I was feeling 10 minutes ago? What caused me to step out of that bandwidth? What caused me to step into the string frequency? This is not the string I was playing in earlier. I want to get back into that flow. And just by acknowledging that can then bring us back into it, and not take ourselves so seriously. Be like, oh yeah, why was I so upset about that? And then boom.
I've heard this so many times from people. There was a time in my life when I was in this great place. How do I get that back?
Yeah,
so sometimes people will just spontaneously experience this, okay? And then they're like, what did I do? Like, they just don't understand. I was there. I remember I was like, oh, there's 3 months that I was like on this cloud 9. How do I get back to that cloud 9? It's like, that's the know thyself. What is your home frequency? Where do you feel most comfortable residing? Is it when you're kicking a ball? So for my own self, I wrote down, you are a bubbly, sparkly person. When you're in your essence and you're really in your home, you're playful, you laugh a lot, you're giggly, you're like, that's who you are.
Yeah.
So speaking to my own self, I'm like, Candice, when you're not bubbly, then that's when you need to say, where did my bubbles go?
Come back, bubbles.
And you've gone flat.
Yeah.
So it's just a tune. It's like, ooh, like I haven't lost it, but I've stepped into a space of it's almost like distortion or something. Like this is something that I'm choosing to focus on and wrap around that is maybe constricting my flow. So let go, surrender, like let that flow happen again. Find a way to get into your body and like be in your natural state so that you can reflect that often in your life.
Yeah.
Because that's awesome. Like, why not be your awesomeness all the time? What is your awesome?
If we're here to embody our highest self or be operating from our highest potential or our highest self, I mean, I'm just speaking for me. I'm not saying everybody's here to do that, but that's why I want to operate from that. But it doesn't mean for me, I'm not always sunshine and rainbows and bubbles and sparkle, but I do feel the best when I'm in that space. And I struggle with being playful. I'm just going to be honest. Like for me, I do struggle with that from time to time. I get into that space. I'm going to pause. So I'm actually really glad that you brought that up, because I do find, like, for the work that I do with other people and the work that you do with other light workers as well, and the groups that you're a part of, it's like we're all interacting and working with one another, and we all have our different things and techniques that we bring to the table, or that make us feel good, or people that inspire us, or activities that inspire us. And I think it's what you said about find where you're at, because where you're most comfortable. And I also wrote recently about complacency and comfort versus comfort. So there's different meanings behind these words. It's not comfort as in safe necessarily, because are you having fun and feeling safe at the same time in your own skin? That's a whole other video, I think. But for myself, the playful aspect of it is it's kind of connected. I feel more playful. Well, I'm like more goofy. So my thing is goofiness. Like if I can get goofy and just be like, or dance around the house and do stupid things, that's my version of playful. And I don't always feel comfortable being like that in front of other people. So I need to do it by myself sometimes. And I find myself going for days sometimes without getting there. And then I have to recognize, oh, wow, I've been really introspective, and I've really dove deep, because I could just, meditate and journal and do all that deep diving, but that can kind of turn me into a little bit of a hermit. So I appreciate what you're saying about that playfulness, because just because I'm meditating a lot and just because I'm doing everything that I need to do to follow this expansion doesn't mean I'm feeling that playfulness and expansiveness.
But you're in joy when you are deep diving. It's
Absolutely.
something that we love to do, and I can relate to that. Like, we love to just permeate into informations and things, and just like,
Yeah.
there's something that is interacting with us, with our field, as we're reading something, and it's stirring feedback within ourselves, and then information comes in, and it's just like like we're
Yeah.
just, it's like we're that seaweed. We're like swimming in, like, blah, blah, blah,
Mhm.
and then all of a sudden you kind of like, oh wait, like I've been down here for a really long time. It's like, it's time to come up for air.
And how do I interact with people again? Oh yeah.
Come up for air. And then you have that thing that happens when you come up from the ocean too
You have
quickly.
to equalize. Baba, boing. I'm
And
back.
that's like playing in the multidimensionality. And these are things and concepts that are just like, you know, things that we could really go into.
Well, I think it's important too, because we talked about the multidimensionality. I keep hearing this idea and this concept, and we've talked about this, the whole normal word. I know it's been you. I don't want to hear it again. There is no. It is multidimensional. We are playful. We are inner child. We are shadow. We are fun. We are sad. We are happy. But it's finding, again, seaweed goes with the flow.
Oh, sorry. I just wrote down normal. And then I'm just noticing that if I turn the M upside down, I get Norwal or Narwhal. Just for my, I'm just playing with the word.
Yeah.
But it shows you, like, you can flip something. Like, what's normal? What is this word? It's like, there's an or inside. There's an or, like Normal. So all, or, and then there's like options. So
Yeah.
it's like, oh, it's optional. It should be like optional. There's no normal, there's optional.
Yeah. And who created that word? What's a word? Where
Like,
did it come from?
where did these come from? Words are just agreements, they're contracts, and we are inserting our energy into these informational spelling contracts.
Yeah.
And something that's happening with a lot of people that play with multidimensionality is they're busting through language, and they're literally like, they're doing what I just did. Like, we want to write down the words, we want to look at them, we want to find words within words, we want to find root, we want to know, why are we saying this, where did it come from? So just like, who's saying this, where did it come from, who wrote that, where did the history come from? So it's just like, consciousness has woken up inside of us, and it's going into everything. So that's like what you were saying. Let's talk about everything today. It's like, well, from our core heart processor, we're redigesting and reprocessing this whole reality.
Yeah.
All reality.
And it's spitting out information, bringing it in, reprocessing it, rebooting, cleansing, clearing.
Goes, as I see something, I'm bringing it into the heart gates, reprocessing, boom. And we are going fast. There are some that aren't, but speaking from us and our experience and many experiences, we're going through it faster now. We're knowing ourselves faster. We're remembering how to get back to center faster. Things are happening faster.
Yeah.
And yet in the stillness, because there's always that place of stillness if you choose. But even in that stillness, you're in a constant stream of light that is in motion so fast that it doesn't move. So it's just, the paradoxical reality, witnessing these higher truths through the access point through a human body with a brain processor. That is an incredible thing. But like, as we come in greater and like expand out, we're upgrading this hardware.
Yeah.
Upgrading this hardware. We're upgrading this hardware. We're upgrading this hardware, our gut. Like, we're informing our body into the next evolutionary process for the human being. This is evolution taking place in us right now. And we're all here to do system upgrades and experience certain things from our unique reference point. And yeah.
And perspective and perception. We are the supracomputers. I mean, it's one of those things where without going, because we can't go to all those layers, but I keep seeing these references, and I honor, we talked a little bit about the whole going to other planets and seeing Mars, for example, which that's a whole other video in itself. But I just want to touch on that briefly, because when I look at this, once we go multidimensional, like what you're talking about, you're tapping in. We're all doing this, whether we consciously realize it or not. We are tapping into everything. And we're upgrading, in the process of upgrading. And we keep coming back to the heart, because it is our processor. If we can process through here, this is going to tell our brain. It's not our brain telling our heart. Yes, there are communication, but it's here. So it's feeling, it's sensing, it's being open, it's compassion, it's joy, whatever that comes from. However, it's breathing, grounding, anchoring. And so all of this technology that we're in this hurry to understand and to create to get somewhere, ultimately it's all coming back to here.
There's nowhere to go.
No.
I keep being told there's nowhere to go. You are in creation, which means you're in all things. So if you're somewhere, there's a great purpose for you to be there. We chose to be here.
Yeah.
So we're here.
But we're also there.
You're everywhere. But there's
exactly.
There, and there's only now.
Yep.
And whew. You can speak. I'm having a white.
I just got it too. It's like, so one of the cool things about this is we are here and we are everywhere. We are here on earth now, in our bodies now. And so while it is really cool and neat and maybe important, I'm certainly not saying that it's not important to explore other planets and to get into higher technologies. It's time to recognize that we are the higher technology. Right? We are the higher technology. Our DNA that we are wanting to learn about, that we're asking science, who are human beings that have put this information together, to tell us who and what we are, when we could just go in and feel who and what we are. And we can see these things.
So what I was told at some point was that because of certain events that happened on the planet, humans were given information ahead of their time that overdeveloped their brains. It caused us to rely and be rerouted up into this realm before this had to develop, because naturally it develops more heart-centered.
Right.
That's what I was told, take it or leave it, right? But it's just like we have tools that are almost beyond our moral compass at this time as a collective. So we're being outsourced, we're being informed outside, not all of us, but this is staring in, and it's just like without the recognition that all things are connected.
Yes.
It's like it's almost sociopathic in a sense. It's just like it's like tinkering without realizing the consequences of the ripple effect throughout all dimensions, throughout all connections, throughout all your relations. It's like you can't just do something and press the red button and then go, oh well, like I just wanted to try that.
Oops.
Oh, you can, but do you understand the ramifications of that and the intergalactic footprint you're creating? Okay, like if you want to play with that unconsciousness, like that's going to create more like that creates so much. And that's why there's an SOS there's a lot of attention on this planet. It's like, okay, like, whoa, these babies got big toys, rockets. And, you know, there's a lot of support to cultivate heart consciousness on this planet. It's needed. And it stems into all other realities. So it all comes back to being informed. That's being processing life from the core, from your essence, the heart.
I think it's important too, talking about the information, because I keep coming back to this because I've been on this flow as well, on this kick. It's like, where are we getting our information from? How do we feel when we get this information? And if we're in a place, it's layers. So we might perceive information that's coming in through our over-processed, overdeveloped brain. Are we channeling that into our heart, or using our heart as a channel? Are we tuning into that? And it's not just our heart, it's, do we feel expansive when we listen to it? Or do we feel heavy when we listen to it? Are we feeling like there's something tickling our senses, like that doesn't feel right? There's a reason that all these words of listen to your heart, you know, pay attention to your intuition, have been told to us and taught. We just haven't ever necessarily put them together as we are now. I mean, I feel like as a collective, there are a huge group of us that are expressing from that space. But that fear, like you were saying, we're in the process of upgrading our solar plexus, our heart, our ears, our brain, our DNA, our skin, our bones, our blood, everything, our cellular structure. Therefore, science, we're beyond it. We just don't know it. We haven't caught up to recognize that we've already surpassed what science is telling us is our reality structure.
And it needs a chance because it's a human tool. That tool has to grow in congruency with that which is happening. Everything, the domino effect is happening with all of these beings that are holding this.
Yeah.
We're taking all of these tools, and there is a cry out from within to break through that.
Yeah.
And that brings me into the cryo, like, oh, we're out of time.
I know. Well, we could do to be continued. Do you want to do a quick, I'm going to pause this real quick. So we're out of time for this particular little series. We're going to try to start doing some more series and have these conversations, because we did talk a little bit about everything, but there is a way that we could literally link in and talk about specifics and bring it all back into, because I know there's people out there going, but what about this event? And what about this timeline? And what about what I'm hearing about this particular set of circumstances? And
choice and sovereignty were coming up as we were speaking before. Choice and sovereignty. And
yes.
Are you making sovereign choice? Where are you going? Where are you going? Because you're on your journey through creation, as part of creation, as the I am. You're going there. So what about this? What about this? It's like, you're going there then.
Yeah.
Like, what are you tapping into? Where are you going? Choice and sovereignty. Choice and sovereignty. Are you choosing from sovereignty? So
yeah. I totally agree. And we do exist in a 3D world. And if you have to make a choice when you go to the grocery store, it's bound to, let me pause. So we're just going to end on this note: sovereignty, choice point. What are we choosing? How do we feel when we choose it? And are we, making sure that we're not stepping on other people's choices as well? It's everything operating from integrity. But there's so much more that we have to share, and we'll save it for the next time. In love and light. Thank you so much, Candice. Thank you guys for watching and sharing in this energy. Namaste.